when were we last in the studio? That's a good question.
Don't tell them.
Yeah, they don't need to
Sorry,
know.
not to break your guys' illusion or anything,
Well,
but it's been a while.
You know, we were traveling. I was cycling, and then Joe was busy getting engaged.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
I got engaged.
You finally did it. He finally did it. All right. So Joey, it's, I've kind of like waited to ask all my questions for like this podcast because I saw the news.
We don't ask as a friend.
As a friend, I saw the news, sent the messages and stuff like that. Tried to ask minimal questions, but
I don't ask unless it's for content.
Joey, tell me everything, Joe. First off, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Tell me everything.
Tell me everything?
Yeah.
When did you plan?
When did you plan this? How did this? Yeah.
What made you do
How
it?
long have you been thinking about
All the motivations.
this?
Well, the motivation was the fact that I've been with Aki for like almost 9 years. So I figured, and I turned 30. So I figured like, yeah, it's probably about time. I should seal the deal. When did I start planning this? That's a good question. Probably like February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, around February. Like earlier this year, I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to do it this year. And then
Think about it.
yeah, I did. It was weird. I actually didn't really have like a concrete plan.
You were just like,
Yeah.
I know it'll probably.
Yeah, I was like, I'll probably do it sometime this year.
Well, if you already know you kind of got to be together for like forever,
Yeah.
presumably you can probably feel like there's no rush because you're
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
it's like she's gone anyway.
I mean, we basically act like a fucking married couple already anyway, right? So
I got to ask, was there like a moment when you were just like, yeah, it's going to happen,
yeah, so okay, so so I knew it was gonna happen sometime this year, but I obviously didn't want to just do it in like, a random location, right? That doesn't mean anything. So I figured like, all right, well, if I'm gonna propose, I have to do it in a place that's like memorable, but also like kind of unique, So we were already going to go to South Africa. At Comic-Con Africa, shout out Comic-Con Africa, legitimately one of the best conventions I've ever been to. So we were already going to go to that at the end of April. So we were like, all right, well, it's our second time in Africa. And the first time around, we only just went to South Africa because it was our first time ever in the continent, let alone the country.
It takes quite a while to get there.
Yeah, it was like door to door, it was like 40 hours.
Okay.
So it was pretty brutal. But like, we enjoyed our experience in Johannesburg so much that when they decided to invite us back this time to Cape Town, the capital, we were like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's go again. And then I suggested to Aki, I was like, okay, well, we couldn't do this last time around because, we were just too busy exploring South Africa. So I figured if we're going to go all the way over there to basically the other side of the planet, let's try and kind of explore the vicinity. So we were like, all right, well then let's figure out like, okay, what other place in Africa are we interested in going to? And we had a couple of ideas. And then just as a joke, I was like, I kind of like want to see what Madagascar is like. Because one, I don't know anyone around me who has ever been to Madagascar.
Yeah.
And two, I fucking love that movie. So, so I was like,
I think the movie is similar to the continent, or sorry, the island.
what do you mean? It's a non-fiction, right?
Well,
It's definitely a documentary.
At first.
Okay, right.
You'll never guess where they end up. But so I was like, okay, well, I don't know anyone who's ever been to Madagascar. And it just seems like kind of, you hear about it, but you don't actually know anything about it. Like I didn't know anything about the country, let alone Aki. So she's always down to, explore new places like I am. So she was like, yeah, okay, let's go. So when she finally said yes to that idea, I was like, okay, that might actually be kind of a dope, unique place to do it.
Yeah.
So we decided on that earlier in the year. And so I was like, okay, well, shit, I need to get a ring.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you went through this as well. But going ring shopping without your partner knowing is a fucking struggle.
Brother, I'll share my story after you share your story.
So, out of like, I basically was like, as Aki was going out, I've looked at a schedule. I was like, okay, she's out with her friends on this day. So this is the perfect day to go out and actually start, figuring out what she wanted.
Yeah.
And I always knew what kind of ring she wanted. So she always obviously was throwing me hints being like, oh, I like this particular gemstone, and it's this particular gemstone called Alexandrite.
Right.
which is this like beautiful, it's kind of like halfway between an amethyst and a sapphire. So it's this kind of purplish blue gemstone that is purple at first, but then when you shine like a light on it, it kind of changes from like red to blue.
That's cool.
Right.
And it's this really, really pretty gemstone. So I thought like, okay, cool, easy. I know the gemstone that I want. Thank God, because, you know, diamonds are expensive and Aki's like, nah, diamonds are kind of whack, so don't give me a diamond. So my wallet was like, thank God. So, but the problem is that, you know, I don't know anyone else who knows anything about Alexandra. It's the first time I ever heard of that gemstone, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going around to these like ring shops all around Japan being like, Alexandrite arimasu ka?
Like, what the
And
fuck
they're
is
like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? So I was like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to get it in Japan. So I asked Luke, who's a friend of mine who's got married. I was like, where did you get your ring? Because I think his ring as well was like a different kind of rare gemstone. And he linked me to this Etsy shop, which
wow.
I'd never used Etsy before. This is my first time using Etsy.
I use
Wow.
Etsy quite a lot.
Yeah, and I realized like, oh wow, okay, this is like pretty legitimate. And I found he linked me to this jeweler that's based out in New York that does these like engagement rings, and I found this perfect Alexandra ring. I was like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too bad of a price as well. So, but I was kind of nervous because I was like, I've never used Etsy before, and I'm buying it from halfway across the world. So I
And
really
also,
hope
this is my engagement ring as well.
and it's like quite a bit of money to drop, you know, for
Broke up the Prime Day deal.
yeah, legit. I was like, this is quite a bit of money to drop on an Etsy purchase. So I was like, all right, well, you know, if Luke got it from there, I'll trust it. Luckily, it came out fine. But the problem was that I guess it got stuck in customs for quite a while.
Oh.
So it arrived, I think it was like 3 days before we're about to fly out.
Yeah, if they mark it as like being quite expensive.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of custom shit you
Yeah.
gotta do. It's so annoying.
And I was fucking stressing out because I was like, bro, if this doesn't arrive on time, then I have to think of like a new place to do it. But thankfully it arrived and the ring looked perfect. So I was like, okay, I'll shove it in my bag and we'll go.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I knew I was going to do it in Madagascar, but I didn't know where I was going to do it or when I was going to do it. I was just like, I'll find like a suitable time. I'm sure there'll be some time that'll be cool. And we stayed at 2 resorts. One of them was this kind of hostel in Antananarivo, which is like the capital of Madagascar, which is like basically the big city.
Hostel? That sounds like a fancy hostel.
That's how I pronounce it. Hostel.
Isn't it just hostel?
Is it hostel?
It's hostel.
I say hostel.
That sounds like the French bougie version of that.
I stayed
It's
in
not
a hostel.
No, not
No,
hostel. It's hostel.
Hostel.
Put an accent on the E. Hostel.
The heck?
Or a hostel, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, hostels like you share like a house, right? Or like rooms. with
Kind of.
other
Well,
people.
it was more like a, I don't know.
When we were in Switzerland, we stayed in a hostel, but it was like we all had our own rooms, which
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
really
Yeah.
consider a hostel.
Yeah, it was
guess
kind
it
of it was kind of like halfway between like kind of that and a hotel.
Okay.
Because you know it's Madagascar. They're not exactly a rich country, so they don't have like the big hotels.
Yeah.
So we got there and I was like, nah, this ain't the place. But then the second place we stayed at was kind of far off
It looked
into
awesome.
the east.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
really
was
cool.
in the middle of this random like huge rainforest in Madagascar called Mangiarano. And there was like, it took us like 4 hours to drive out there. And there was legitimately nothing around it. It's just like this giant rainforest and smack bang in the middle, there's this beautiful forest resort.
Yeah.
And the moment I got there, I was like, yeah, okay, I think this is the place we're going to do it. So I was just like kind of finding the time, and I was going to do it like kind of after like this nice dinner that we had at the resort, which you guys can see in my vlog that I uploaded. But then the moment we got back to the room and I was like getting ready to like pull the ring out, Aki was like, I'm sleepy. I'm going to go to bed. I was just like, fuck. I was just like, God damn it. This is the perfect time to do it. It's like we just had a beautiful dinner and now we're back in our room and we get to see this like, you know, beautiful night, rainforest and everything like that. And I was like, oh, this is romantic. This
Nah,
is
the
perfect.
lighting would be bad for the video.
Yeah. And she was like, nah, dog, I'm going to bed.
Was there any part of you that was like, oh, I should do it at the dinner? Because that's sometimes I think people do. But then it's also around other people. And I don't know.
No, I thought about doing it at the dinner as well, but I guess like, you know, already from the dinner, like I felt like, nah, this is, I don't know, like I had that gut feeling where I was like, nah,
not the vibe.
this isn't really the vibe.
you can always like tell with your partner a lot of times because I knew that, you know, some people like being in like a crowded place when they get the engagement and, you know, get the applause as well from other people. I knew like Sydney wasn't that type of person.
Aki's the same.
I knew she wanted something a little bit more intimate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I was like, all right, you know what, whatever. I'll think about it in the morning. So we went to bed. And then obviously the jet lag was kicking our ass. So Aki got up super early in the morning to just like go out onto the balcony, just like see the rainforest. And I woke up and I saw she was out on the balcony. I was like, all right, this is the time. Like immediately I knew this is the time. So I secretly placed the camera down and then and then I proposed to her.
Look over there.
I legitimately pulled the check that out.
All right. Moment to moment, what was going through your mind? Like,
okay, so
we were all cool.
I need a play-by-play of this because I have such a vivid memory of just like this is happening, and then it kind of just became a blur for me.
Oh, legitimately,
I thought I was prepared, but my heart was like beating out my chest. Man.
I mean, like, you know, in my case, I feel it was like even harsher because I was doing this first thing in the fucking morning. Like, I woke up, saw she was outside, and my brain was like, do it now. So I was like, all right. So I immediately woke up and I was like scrounging around for the ring. I put the camera down and then I was like repeating in my head, like, okay, I'll probably like kind of do it in this way. You know, I'll do the classic look over there maneuver. Hopefully she falls for it. Otherwise it'd be mad awkward.
Oh God.
But you know, luckily she fell for it.
Did you actually say look over there, or just like, oh, there's something cool over there?
Yeah, because she was out on the balcony and she was bird watching.
Oh, okay.
So she had like her binoculars and she was, you know, bird watching, and you know, because there was like quite a bit of wildlife out and about. So yeah, I got out and you know, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just bird watching. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. Oh, look at those birds over there. And then she was like, what birds? And then I was like, now go. Got down on one knee and I legitimately don't remember what I said.
Yes, I'm exactly the same.
So many people, like when we told, you know, our friends that had happened, you know, a lot of my female friends were like, oh my God, what did you say to her? You know, like, do you remember what you said? I was like, legitimately, it's a fucking blur.
Yeah.
And I mean, Aki remembers because obviously she heard it, but like, I said something, you know, along the lines of like, you know, it's been long enough and I feel like it's time and, you know, let's just like seal the deal.
It's been a fucking while. We should probably just get it sorted, you know.
Yeah, I basically, the pre-written speech that I had.
True moment.
Yeah, the pre-written speech that I had just fucking went out the window.
Yeah. And
I was just stumbling on my words and then I managed to get something out. Nice, and then, luckily she said yes. And that's what happened. And then immediately after that, you can see it in the video, but I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I haven't told your parents yet. And she was like, what? And there's a good reason for that. It's because Aki, especially Aki's mom, is such a fucking blabbermouth that I knew she was going to spoil it.
She'd spoil.
And like, in my head, I was like, well, okay, Aki's parents, I know they like me. So I'm sure if I told them after it happened, they wouldn't necessarily be like mad about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the video you can see like I immediately called Aki's mom and she was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack. And, you know, it's just, she was like really cute about it. And then I obviously called Aki's dad after that as well and everything was good. And yeah. And then we enjoyed the rest of our trip together. And we legitimately thought, we were like, should we let people know at the convention?
Yeah.
But then I thought like, it would be kind of cool, but at the same time, I kind of want to like enjoy just like the privacy for a little bit, at least for the rest of the trip. So we didn't tell anyone at the convention. And then the moment we got back, we announced it.
How's the afterglow after you did it?
Oh, dude, I was on fucking cloud nine. Like it felt so good. Cause like I knew she was going to say yes, but at the same time, I don't know if this is just like my slight pessimistic side. 1% of me was like, what if she's like, nah? Like, what if? Like, it's not entirely, you know, zero possibility.
Get to have a very fun and serious conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, what? Turn the camera off. No, but luckily she said yes, and then we, just enjoyed the rest of our trip together to Madagascar, and
What was the internet like? Fast in Madagascar? I was just wondering.
No, it was pretty bad. It was really, really bad.
The whole time I was like, damn, Could I play games there? Or?
Nah, like we struggled to we finally managed to call Aki's mom in the video, but I think that was like the third or fourth attempt of calling, just because the internet. Because we're in the middle of the fucking rainforest in Madagascar. There's like no internet whatsoever. There was Wi-Fi, but it was like fucking 1G. Like it was barely anything. We could barely maintain the call, but yeah, we managed to get it through, and and then we enjoyed the rest of our trip together. And then we were like, well, this is all cool and all, but let's just hope we don't get malaria from this trip. Luckily, we didn't. Hopefully.
Was the hotels nice? I fucking love just being in a lazy ass hotel.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, this forest lodge in Madagascar was just
it looked really cool.
Insane, and it was so cheap. Incredibly cheap. Because I later found out that
just gonna get all the way to Madagascar.
Yeah. Later found out that I think Madagascar is like the 4th or 5th poorest country in the world or something.
Oh wow!
Like the GDP is like really, really bad.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a lot of industry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure tourism must be one of.
Tourism is like one of the big things.
Yeah.
It's not very. There you go.
Oh, yeah,
it's not that great.
Okay.
It's in the top 10%. But the hotel staff were like so incredibly nice, and just like the rainforest walks that we went on afterwards. We got to see like wild lemurs and just like all this like
lemurs are so sick.
Insane fucking wildlife.
And you saw King Julian.
Kinda. It wasn't the exact same lemur. We saw all the other lemurs, but we were like, Aki was like, "Where's King Julian?"
Where's King Julian?
And our guide was like, "Oh, King Julian's down in the south."
God, imagine having to like you have this amazing wildlife. People just walk up, they're like, "Yo, where's King Julian?" I want to move it. It's just like, oh my god.
No. You know what was really funny was that I'm sure like all the guides were like aware of just how many people come to Madagascar because of that movie.
Yeah.
Because the first guide that took us around, he was basically like our driver for the entire time.
Right.
He was super nice dude. The first thing he said was just like, "You like to move it?"
They know.
Cancel the fucking vacation.
Yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh, you're aware?" And he's like, "Of course." It's like, but half the people who come to Madagascar wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that movie.
including this man.
Including us. Yeah. So unfortunately we didn't get to see everything because it doesn't look it on the map.
But it's huge.
Madagascar is
it's huge,
a massive country.
Yeah.
I actually had another friend who went, and I think he did a drive around it. He said it was like 12-hour drive from top to bottom.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
guide was
ridiculous.
actually like, if you want a full experience of the entire country, then they recommend like 2 weeks.
Right.
We were only there for 5
Goddamn.
days.
Wow.